All right, it's still waiting. Still waiting. Oh, I got everything going. Got the YouTube and the Facebook going. Let me try this again. All right, I see the live thing is on. All right. All right, True in the Cause of Peace and Noon Times. We're back with part 4 of the 144,000 in Noon Science. All right, so I'm your host, BooOOnooAAnet, and today I'm representing the sun because today is Sunday. And so we're going to let the Ken make his introduction, then we'll begin. Thank you.
Okay, True Peace, Kens and friends. We back for another banger. Part 4. That's the part that we about to get into, and hope you all is tuned in and enjoying the information that's being displayed. And as I had said before, repetition is relevant for memory drill, and that this information will help a lot of individuals come out of the spell that they are in pertaining to religion, um, so we can move forward with our liberation, true peace.
All right. So we stopped on page 52 last night. And let me see, 27. So we should try to get to 79 tonight. So that should give us 2 shows back to back. All right, so get to that. All right, so the coming of judgment day or judgment time when justice and equality would definitely and finally triumph and prevail, when Noon is maintaining and the writer is advocating, or indeed that judgment time is here, when all persons and things get judged by the positive forces of nature, while the negative forces of nature do the works of justice for balance and equality, which is another way of saying that evil and wrongness will destroy themselves. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. All right. Introduction to the Nature, Book 2, number 375, pages 253 to 254. All right. Excuse me, y'all. Let me open this up. All right, for God has put a plan into their minds, a plan that will carry out his purposes. They will agree to give their authority to the scarlet beast, and so the words of God will be fulfilled. All right, so the word for mind is nous. All right. And so we finna get on to breaking down my name now, because last night we broke down Anoot's name and how it was already written in the scriptures. All right, so now we're going to get to mine. Just wanted to acknowledge the Ken Naru is in the building, so we'll just keep continuing. All right, it said moving on to Tar Kenu Unu Noopoo's name. Tar equals open, creator, artisan, craftsman, and writer. In hieroglyphs, the name Tar is often represented by symbols. Excuse me. Got my phone on. That can be interpreted as to open, to engrave, to carve, and to chisel. The name itself may have meant sculpture or an engraver. Tar was a major deity in ancient Egypt associated with craftsmanship creation, and the divine power to give form to things. Revelation 3:8, you have the word anoego, and it means annoy or anoigo, phonetic, anoigo, open, broke, opens, opening, break, spoken freely. All right. Tar also has the ability to speak as well and write as his name suggests. Unu equals first relative, kindred, tribes, nations to the universe's cosmos and world. All right. So in this case, Alpha in my name is dealing with first. All right. Because Uno means one. All right. And kin means relative. So kindred. All right. The Ethiopian race and person of the African pygmies came along with original creation, that is, the same kind of ether forces that grew the universes also grew the dwarf Ethiopians, the pygmies. Therefore, the pygmies and their evolutionary descendants are the personification of the original creative forces. To put it another way, the African pygmies created the universes in their spirit form, nine ether, then personified themselves as flesh and blood beings. Revelation 11:9. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and give thanks, and shall be a gift unto them that were redeemed from every kindred and tribe and tongue and people. All right. The Greek word is phule, and it means kindred, tribes, tribes. All right. From the Greek number 54, 53, meaning grew, and offshoot, race or clan, kindred or tribe. From fuo, compare fulon, an offshoot, race or clan, kindred or tribe. In the book of Revelation, the Greek word cosmos, translated as world, primarily refers to God's creation in its totality, including the universe and humanity. While it can denote the physical universe or the inhabitants of the earth, it often carries a negative connotation signifying a depraved and sinful system opposed to God according to a taboo public visualization. Noopooh equals mind, pure intelligence, and nous. Nous is the original creator of the universes and the original persons, places, and also things therein, because the powers and sources of Noopooh are the sons of the cosmos, also called the true stars. Let it be remembered always, let it be known. Introduction to the nature of nature, book 1, number 5, page 18 in part, Revelation 17:9. For God has put plain into their minds a plan that will carry out his purpose. Thy will agreed to give their authority to the scarlet beast, and so the words of God be fulfilled. Let's continue the chapter. I just put that in there as again, but remember the Greek word for mind in the Greek is nous. All right. At the very hour, there was a severe earthquake, and a tenth of the city collapsed. 7,000 people were killed in the earthquake, and the survivors were terrified and gave glory to the God of heaven. Listen to the reason. This earthquake hasn't happened yet. It will be as we get close to the February 5th, 2025 AD. The God of heaven is Noopooh God, whose domain is in the top half 18 million years from now, not the actual sky. 6/06/2025, verse updated at 12:02. The decline of nature by reason and 3 South cataclysm calculations. Listen to sound right cosmic peace particles. Now that we reach and past February 5th, 2025, the cataclysm hasn't occurred because of the 79th turn and how the SMAT circle has used up its energy each 72 million year turn. Listen to reason. When the writer mentions upward or downward movement by the SMAT circle of order, he means upward or downward movement in standards, abilities, values, and qualities of nature. The laws of nature, known as the laws of the opposites, are responsible for the revolution of the circles of SMAT together with other laws and factors in nature. All living beings, including the SMAT circle of order, who exist 1 degree at a time, and that 1 degree is absolute nature in general. are somewhat like an economical, political, military empire. It comes into being, order, and cycle, grows and extends to power by whatever means. And maturity grows old, declines, and eventually falls by military forces or natural course of action. What causes a living being to decline is this: after passing through the maturity stage apex, he, she, or it produces or reproduces less and less of the life-giving chemicals and energies that necessarily, my bad, less and less of life-giving chemicals and energies necessary to sustain youth and life because of deterioration and depreciation from aging, exhaustion, and usage of the functioning parts that the spirit, that the personal thing must use for support and survival. Senility is also on the path of dorogenation. This writer repeats, when the science noon refers to upward or downward movement by the smack circle of order, it means upward or downward movement in standards, values, abilities, and qualities of nature, as in person, places, and things, and not in distance through space, because the circle of order is not a circle of distance in space, but distance in circle and chemical changes in matter as pertaining to standards, abilities, qualities, and values of nature. Let it be remember always, and let it be known. Excuse me, y'all. Introduction to the Nature of Nature, Book 1, number 278, pages 207 to 208. True peace to Kuiraupu and Anoot in the chat. All right. Listen to reason. It has also been determined by sound right reason based on existing evidence that planet Earth and the rest of the universes, as well as the other universes, will last for another 72 million years because, in the first place, non-mentality in Noopoo has arrived and settled in for the past 32 years. That is to say, since the year 1962, although it has been very tedious to do so. Secondly, though it is very difficult, the noon science of Noopoo is making progress on resurrection of the mental dead and mental liberation of the Ethiopian race. Also, though weak, Mother Earth seems to have enough strength to go another cycle of 72 million years of the existing circle, the smack circle of order, with the help of two more positive natural cataclysms, one now at the beginning of the Sun Libra and revolutionary cycles, and the other at the beginning of the origination cycle, 18 million years from Christian Caucasian year 1962. Positive world cataclysm weakens the negative forces of absolute nature and indeed strengthen the positive powers of almighty nature in various ways and means as dictated by the laws of eternal nature and liberation energy of the revolutionary cycle. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Introduction to the Nature of Nature, Book 2, page 13. Listen to sound right cosmic particle reasoning to support that Juta Kinu Unu Noopoo was not wrong in his calculations. We Noopoo in the orbs, especially Sipu Noopoo in the Gregorian calendar, was based off his people, the Caucasian American, of course. We, the Orbs, all agreed on February 5th, 1962 AD. Although Juta Kinu Unu Noopoo has explained this multiple times, how he came up with the actual cataclysm times since late 2021, August to December, he shall demonstrate numbers again for future references. In the past cycles, when the smack circle had the energy to bounce back, February 5th, 2025 came on time. However, that was after World War III, Armageddon had occurred. However, as time went on, the events that preceded February 5th, 2025 AD actually came after, later and later. This caused a serious lag of time build up to years before Noopoo has generated enough energy to pull everything up. Look at it like a smack circle leap year every 72 million years. Example, leap years exist to keep our Gregorian calendar aligned with Earth's orbit around the sun. The Earth takes approximately 365.24 and 22 days to complete one orbit, while the standard 365-day calendar lags behind by about 0.2422 days each year. This extra quarter of a day accumulates, and leap years add an extra day, February 29th, to correct this drift and ensure that the seasons stay roughly in the same months each year. AI generated source. Listen to sound right cosmic peace particles. In the case of the smack circle, instead of positive accumulation of time every term, it's a slowing of time and movement of matter. Thus, it takes us Noopoo the orbs and 144,000 minds on each planet beings exist at to help pull the circle up after the sun speeds up the planet after a solar flare, as Superman Anoot did in 1972. So here is very importante. All right. So we're going to kind of dig into this a little bit. As a matter of fact, when Anoot comes back, and not saying necessarily he have to do it when he comes back, but when he comes back at any given time, he can explain this a little bit more if he chooses to at the time. But this is very important. 144,000 minds. And there are beings on every planet in the solar system and around the universes. But that's for another time, all right? It says, yes, scientific reports that the Earth's rotation has been increasing since 1972. All right, so this is also the year with BooOOnoo wrote the 9 ball, 71 and 72. This is because the Earth's liquid outer core sometimes slows down, causing the planet's surface to spin faster. While the Earth's rotation has been generally slowing down due to tidal friction, another fact that the core's fluctuation can temporarily cause a speed up. Here's a more detailed explanation. Leap seconds. Since 1972, scientists have been adding a leap second to our clock to keep them synchronized with the Earth's actual rotation. This is because the Earth's rotation is not perfectly constant. This is why our great nephew BooOOnoo said this. Listen to reason. However, if the complete ending of evolution does not happen within 60 years, including the cataclysm for 0.3 south from the year announced by one who is qualified to proclaim it, when the cataclysm does come, the universes are on their way down and out to the smack circle of chaos. Ghost Guard, being the last evolutionary stage of the spirit dead, can be mighty oppressive and very bloodthirsty. And this is why the Caucasian Bible states in St. Matthew, the 24th chapter, verses 21 and 22, that if the days or years of ending evolution are not shortened by the universe science, which is the planets, for the sake of the elect, elite, and innocent, therefore there will not be any flesh saved, and no one will survive Armageddon, the events and disasters that close out the end of evolution. Let it be remembered, also let it be known. Listen to reason. Anticipating that the universes will not terminate at the end of this evolution cycle, and that the elite and innocent will be left to carry on with the smack circle of order, let's keep on with the progress of the circle of order and activities. Introduction to the Nature of Nature, Book 2, numbers 184 to 185, page 135. Using this quote as a standing example, we have progressed 1,217 days, 3 years, 4 months, and 1 day ago from February 5th, 2022. Okay, so that's 60 years from February 5th, 1962 to February 5th, 2022 is exactly 60 years. All right, so now we 3 years past that, all right? Does this make what BooOOnoo said wrong? Absolutely not. The date is February 5th, 1962 AD, around the whole smack from planet Earth's perspective. Now we move toward the explanation. February 5th, 1962 is a 9-year, as you all know. 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 2 equals 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. That means the 3 South Cataclysm should also reflect 9 in the year of its manifestation. All right. The 3 South Cataclysm gematria comes up to 9. 216 and 63. Both equals 9. Here's how this should look. 60 years from 1962 AD is February 5th, 2022 AD. To get the 9-year, we must add each year. 2022 equals 6 year. 2023 equals a 7-year. 2024 equals an 8-year. And 2025 equals a 9-year. In the past 72 million year cycles, World War III happened within these 3 years. As SMAT lost time and energy, time events added up to what you have, the 3.5 years as accounted for in the Bible, Daniel, and Revelation, respectfully. All right, so now we're finna draw in the biblical timeline as well. So it's a lot getting handled here. All right. 3.5 years occurs 5 times in Revelation, clustered together in 3 consecutive chapters, Revelation 11, 12, and 13. 3.5 years times 2 equals 7, because you're talking about 3.5 times 3.5. 3 plus 3 equals 6, and half and half equals, I think, a 1. So that makes it 7. So you got 42 months, Revelation 11:2. Trample the holy city for 42 months, 1,260 days, Revelation 3. 2 witnesses prophesied for 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. Revelation 12:6, you get the 1,260 days again. The woman fled into the wilderness where she has a place prepared by God in which she is to be nourished for 1,260 days, times and a half of time, Revelation 12:14. That's just another way to say 42 months. The woman's given the 2 wings of the great eagle so that she might fly from the serpent in the wilderness to the place where she is to be nourished for a time and a half of time. See, that's time is 3 years, time is 3 years, and then half of time. Okay, so that's what that is. 42 months. Revelation 13:5 and 7. The beast exercise authority for 42 months, allowed to make war on the saints and to conquer them. Don't be confused. It's all the same amount of time expressed in different ways. 3.5 years equals 42 months, equals 1,260 days, equals times, and a half of time. All right, revelationscriptures.com. The 7 stands for 7 years. All right, so then you have Daniel's 70th week. All right, a 7-year period, 1 week equals 7 years. All right, so they have a whole nother bunch of time that comes like 400 some years between the book of Daniel and the so-called coming of Christ, which we explained that was Caesarion and how they just messed that stuff up. All right, so here in this time, in the midst of the week, Daniel 9:27, and then you have Matthew 24:21. Now they're talking about a great tribulation, 3.5 years, 3.5 years. A covenant peace treaty is made in Daniel 9:27. The covenant is broken, 9:27. Abomination of desolation, Matthew 24:14. Then they say, after the tribulation of those days, Christ the Messiah will return, Matthew 24:29-30. We already explained this yesterday, last night, that Boonoo was who they was referring to, but in noon, we know that the Savior was over, and that was the moon cycle, that was a negative cycle, and that the liberator was the one to come. And NoopooH are the mind, the mental energies. The noon is the science of the physical human liberator, which was Boonoo, which he was the messenger. That was his title at that time. So who y'all was looking for, Christians, he already came and gone. Like I said, like a thief in the night. Nobody knew he was here. And he wrote the books in private and stayed out of the way of the religious nut jobs. This is why people like Charlie Kirk was murdered because of religion and politics. Malcolm X was murdered and killed because of religion and Elijah Muhammad politicking with the government and the KKK. Martin Luther King was killed because of religion and politics. Noble Drew Ali was killed because of religion and politics and masonry. Because all that stuff is a part of religion. All of it. Most of the people you see that are dying because of religion, when they killed Clarence 13X because he was teaching the people they were gods. But that's using the word gods out of Psalms 82:6. So the 5%, most of their foundation is on the book of Psalms. And they said the FBI was seen talking to Clarence 13X. Not too long after that, they found him dead in, I think, the alley or in some type of apartment complex in the hood. We can keep going and going. Then most of your leaders go out because of religion. All right? So this is showing you that the timeline was altered and they lied about events. So the liberator who y'all was looking for called Christ, that right there is a whole farce. The liberator came and gone. That's why he made that statement, don't think about, to the leaders, don't think about killing me for any reason. And for the most part in America, we know that they put out something in the COINTELPRO, something about the Black Messiah, the rise of the Black Messiah. The FBI and all of them had it out on the lookout to kill anybody that came up trying to help Black people. So AfroUnoo knew that. And this is why he told us in the 9-ball books, don't join no organization. Because he knew that would put a religious mark on your back. We're not religious regardless because we know it's the spell. So all of these people, especially those who followed York, Dwight David York, who did not write those books, but let's play like he did. Why would you create an organization when the books and the intelligence that put it together said do not join any organization? You won't find real NoopooHs a part of no organization because we know that that's basically putting blood on you and running into a crowd of zombies or swimming in shark-infested waters. That is the dumbest thing you could ever do. All right? So let's continue. 7-year tribulation period. The two witnesses prophesied for 1,260 days. All right, this is just stuff I got off the net. This is their timeline. We didn't create this timeline. The first 4 trumpets, the first woe, the 5th trumpet, 5 months, woe number 2, the 6th trumpet, say the two witnesses, death, resurrection, ascension, right here in the middle. The second war is past, behold, the third war is coming quickly, Revelation 11:14. Then you got the first 3.5 years, 1,260 days. Then you have a midpoint. Then you had the second 3.5 years, which is 1,260 days. All right. So that's a 7-year tribulation period that most religionists talk about. Okay. You go online, you can find countless people having had it, and nothing has happened according to all of them that have been talking about this topic. Somebody got to be telling the truth. Out of all of the things y'all have ever heard, somebody has to be telling the truth. And we're addressing it because we know that the religionists who altered the Bible editors, definitely moved things around because they did not want you to know what time it really was. And by the time you figured it out, it would have gave them enough time, they think, to pull one over on you. But that's not how the SMAT circle works. Let us, Sound Right Reason, give more clarity through visuals. Look at this time frame, February 5th, 2022 to February 5th, 2023. 25 AD. These are the months between the two dates. All right. So from the old cycle, when the cataclysm had supposed to hit February 5th, which was on a Saturday, 2022, now we have to look at the time that shifted. So this is what we're dealing with, the time shifting. So the date between February 5th, 2022 and Wednesday, February 5th, 2025 is what? 36 months. The time frame is 36 months, a 9. In the past cycles, things were on time, as we Noopoo stated before. In order to make this date corrected, as mankind does with leap years, we have to add months to give you the time that the time you two were already on the scene and actually finished teaching, which is the witnesses in religion. All right. Sound reason is addressing me and Anoot at this point in time. So now you got witnessing equals 59. Teaching noon, 59. The two witnesses, 160. Two male noonaboos, 190. Again, they flip the numbers around. All right, this is how they play games. The two witnesses, 224. Ethiopian pitch novas, 224. And those who got the nature books know that Ethiopian stands for the woolly head African race. And pitch novas means new black star. It's adding up. I didn't alter any of this. Here are the additional 6 months, making it 42 months. So when you go from February 5th, 2025, all the way to August 5th, 2025, it's 42 months. Okay? So we're getting down to equal standing time frames. So we're gonna handle 9 years, a 9 year, the 3.5 years, which is really a 7-year period. And now we're showing you the 42 months. All right. So we're going to go through this slow. Nobody's rushing. All right. We're trying to make sure it is very clear, because once this stuff is out into the air, into the internet, it's going to go wherever it's going to go. So we need to make sure we're clarifying everything that needs to be seen, heard, and understood. All right. This was the ending of the 7-year period of tribulation as stated in the Bible. That means the 7-year tribulation started in 2019, many smack circles ago. So this was the old 42 months. Added when you go all the way back from February 5th, 2022, right? All the way to August 5th, 2025 is 42 months. All right? Make a note of that. All right? The 7-year tribulation started when you go back. The smack circle completes a turn every 72 million years. So you have to go back a few 72 million year cycles in order for this August 5th, 2025 to be true. It is no longer true now because the smack circle lost energy as time went on. All right? And the time had to be adjusted as the smack circle lost energy. Just want to make sure we make that equal stood. All right. Is that everything all right, Nebu? Okay. I'm just seeing you holding your phone up. Okay. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So during that time, Africa was rising enough to defend herself from the West. Then Jupiter would send Apophis 251 days later, April 13, 2026, AD after the cataclysm as a bonus cleansing to any of the moon cycle elites and their workers who survive. However, since we all are on the 79th term, everything has been pushed back over time. Instead of Apophis hitting 2025, 2026 AD, Apophis will hit April 13, 2029. If you go back 3.5 years before April 13, 2029, it's October the 13th, 2025. That's 3.5 years before October the 13th, 2025. Excuse me. That's October the 13th, 2025. 3.5 years before October the 13th, 2025 is April the 13th, 2022. Again, this doesn't mean it will be exact in this circular events in your lifetime. However, you too will eventually go very public as things heat up in Africa. Because of this time lagging, is why all predictions are off. And it's difficult for predictions in spirituality, which are inconsistent. This is why we, Noopoo, stated this to our messenger, Afro-Unu. When a year like 1962 is given for the end or ending of a major cycle like the evolution cycle, this does not mean that all affairs and events of the end are supposed to happen in that given year, because we are dealing in thousands and millions of years. In actuality and practicality, a given year for the ending means that the ending events, including the great point 3 south cataclysm of the circle, will take place, look, within 60 years from the announced ending year for point 3 south. All right, so within 60 years, it doesn't say before, within. And again, that time and number is going to be expounded on, and Anoot will give more information on that within when he returns. All right, Introduction to the Nature, Book 2, number 183, page 134 in part. Let this be known. Let's continue with 6 East Cataclysm 9 year. It says this: within 75 years before 0.6 East. Introduction to the Nature, Book 2, 183, page 134 in part. Listen to sound right, cosmic peace particles. 18 million years from now, on February 5th, 1962 AD, will be the end of the moon cycle during the revolutionary quarter. 75 years plus 1962 is 2037. Excuse me. The same way we got a 9 year at 3 south, we follow the same pattern. 2037 equals 12 year, 1 plus 2 equals 3. A 3 year. 2038 equals 13, 1 plus 3 equals 4, it's a 4th year. 2039, which is a 14, 1 plus 4 equals a 5 year. 2040 is a 6 year. 2041 equals 7 year. 2042 equals an 8 year. 2043 equals a 9 year. So what happens is the same way time reset it for the new Ethiopian year, when February 5th, 1962 happened, time started over. So 18 million years from now, when it hit February 5th again, 75 years after that, because the clock of the universe starts over. So you count 75 years, because it's going to be 2000. It's going to be in the year 2000 when you add 1962 plus 75 years. So this is how we got that. All right, you have to add up the years the same way you did with 1962, and you add 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 2 equals a 9 year, which is year 1. All right, so here it's a 90 years for 0.9 north. Introduction to the Nature, Book 2, number 183, page 134 in part. 18 million years from 6 east. 1962 is 9 north. 1962 plus 90 years is what? 2052, a 9 and same numbers as 2025 at 3 south, 36 million years earlier. So when you get to 9 north, instead of it being 2025 down here, it's 2052 exactly at the tip top of the smack circle, 36 million years from now. This time, we are expecting a 6 year because Noopooh advents at this time. So you have 2052, 2 plus 0 plus 5 plus 2 equals 9, right? Then you go 2053 equals a 10. 1 plus 0 equals a 1 year. 2 plus the next year is 2054, right? Equals 11. 1 plus 1 equals a 2 year. Next one is 2055 equals a 12. 1 plus 2 equals a 3 year. 2056 is a 13. 1 plus 3 is a 4 year. Next one is 2057 equals a 14. 1 plus 4 equals a 5 year. And then 2058 equals a 15. All right. 1 plus 5 equals 6, which is a 6 year. All right. Or you could just add 6 years to 2052 and you get 2058, 6 years. That's when the cataclysm hits at 9 north. Listen to sound right reason. The point 9 north cataclysm is labeled the gases cataclysm because brain nukes use arrow form gases in the form of windstorms. So now we talk about in the heavenly half. All right, this is actually symbolic kind of mixing two events. In 9 north at heaven, there's a gas cataclysm, which is a disturbance, and 6 ether start coming up. So what religionists did, they took a little bit of 9 north gases cataclysm and pushed it and merged it with 6 west cataclysm when Leviathan was casted out. So when you hear that, that's them pushing 9 north and 6 west together, then created a story from that. All right, so this is what it looks like at 9 north when it's time for Noopooh 6 ether to come in. It looks like this. This is what the windstorms call hurricanes and cyclones and subterranean chemical gases and the arrival of the influence of 6 reason to begin changing the perfection of the positives of nature that is at 0.9 north. Chat GPT research. What are toxic subterranean gases in science? All right. So it gives you all these different gases that existed back then to make it toxic. Radon, hydrogen sulfide, methane, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. See, it breaks all this stuff down at high levels called the suffocation heavier than air, so it settles low. So all these different type of gases was in the atmosphere, and the pygmy gods were being poisoned slow but surely. And by the time it got down to 6 west, they had went from 9 ether top to 6 ether top, gas-wise. Okay, sulfur dioxide. So it talks about why they dangerous, because most are odorless, invisible, and heavier than air, which allows them to what? Collect in enclosed spaces. They can cause neurological damage, respiratory failure, explosions, long-term cancer risk. So by the time the pygmy gods got to 6 west, they were sick. And a lot of them died because of the poisoning, because they couldn't withstand the blast from explosion of the sun at that time, losing its magnetism. And it harmed the moon, and the moon was closer to the planet at that time. So when the moon stopped turning on its axis and tilted, the water that was on the moon that it took with it when the earth gave birth to it many billions of years ago, that water came from there, and that's the flood. It looked like an ark. All right, so Noah's Ark was just meaning the moon stopped rotating and tilted, and the water came from there onto the planet. All right, the perfection of the positives cannot get any higher than 9 north, and they cannot remain the same forever. So they must normally and naturally begin to wane, decrease, and descend in values, qualities, and standards. The positives in nature are attributes like true knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, true justice and equality, true liberty and honesty, considerate and compassionate, live and social happiness, the ability to reason right or follow the right reasoning of someone else, and the ability in nature to do right and treat others right. The results of the 0.9 cataclysm are the gradual reduction of the above positives plus including the highest mentality and reasonability of infinite, eternal, almighty nature. Let it be remembered, always let it be known. Introduction to the Nature of Nature, Book 3, pages 96 to 97 of the PDF. So let me get 752, so 52, 9, okay, 90, 97, I think that's where it's supposed to be at. All right, and within 75 years for 0.6 West, let it be remembered, always let it be known. All right, Introduction to the Nature of Nature, Book 2, number 183, page 134 in part. 18 million years from 9 North to 6 West, 1962. And it says 75 years at 6 West plus 1962 is 2037. Remember, time starts over of the universes every time they hit February 5th, 18 million years on the epoch side. All right. So now you got 2037, the same way we got a 9-year at 3 South, we follow the same pattern. All right. For here, we have to get a 6-year. All right. So you got 2 plus 0 plus 3 plus 7 equals 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2038 equals 13. 1 plus 3 is a 4. 2039 equals 14. 1 plus 4 equals a 5. 2040 is a 6-year. All right. So that's how these things go around the smack circle consistently all the time. 3 South was always going to have a 9-year, and 6 East going to always have a 9-year. 9 North will always have a 6-year, and 6 West will always have a 6-year. All right. The 2 witnesses continue. Before we finish the 2 witnesses, chapter 11, it must be added by us, Noopooh, with an update to Daniel chapter 8 at 11:20 p.m. Saturday, 6/7/2025. The writings we, Noopooh, are referring to is the Book of Daniel writings Jutar Noopooh completed 2 years, 7 months, and 3 days ago. There's a few things needed to be added from Daniel to this document. All right, so this is a book that I originally wrote 11/3/2022. It was New Ethiopian 60, Noopooh embryo year 96. In this document, we Noopooh and the orbs only identify the orb, spirit beings, and the constellations. However, we Noopooh will reveal human beings and the complete explanation of the timeline, how it relates to the timeline in this document. Let it be known. All right, then I heard one saint speaking and another saint saying unto the certain saint, which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot? The first saint is Anoot, Boonoo, and Jutar Noopooh is the other, answering, how long till all of this is over? Meaning the events closing our evolution. Also, the number 1 is here twice, 2 witnesses. All right, so you see the word for witnesses, it says Holy One and Holy One. And you have the word Kados, right? So we breaking it down in all Kadosh. Kadosh, holy, sacred, set apart. Holy One, saint. Holy, Holy One, saints, consecrated. Sacred as noun, God, by eminence, an angel, a saint, a sanctuary. Remember, these are religious interpretations because this stuff was written during the moon cycle. So when our ancestors were writing the Bible, which Anoot pointed out, they wrote in a way that was from a religious standpoint. Okay? So, and even if they didn't, the editors definitely changed it because they don't want you to recognize when stuff is happening in front of you. All right, so here you have what? Kadosh equals 28. G. Gordon is 28. This is a new birth name. Kadush, 26. My name, initials, 29. You just flip the 6. exalted on the theophanic throne. All right, Psalms 22:4, heavenly throne, Isaiah 57:15, and victory, Isaiah 5:16, 1 Samuel 2:2, Psalms 99:3, Psalms 99:5, Psalms 9:9:9. Look at that. Look at all these nines. Y'all do not hear us though. In Psalms 111:9. See the ones? Theophany, an actual appearance of God or a God to man. 1630s, from late Latin, theophanio, from Greek theos, God. Forming words for religious concepts. Phoneme, bring to light. Cause to appear, show. From Proto-Indonesian European, to shine. In Middle English, the festival celebrating Epiphany. Ancient Greek theophanio was the name of a festival at Delphi during which the statues of Apollo and other gods were displayed to the public. Theophanic. Listen to reason. These two major races of people, the Takanoa and Mackinaw races of human beings or humanoids, evolved to where we all are today, at 0.6 west, the beginning of evolution and death. The rulers and nobility of the Ethiopian race became demigods instead of being the full-fledged gods and goddesses as our ancestors had been before the fall into the death cycle. And this claim of godhood was kept alive in one degree or another, in one place or another, until the Ethiopian, Nubian, Sudanese kings, pharaohs of Egypt and Africa were supplanted by monkeys' descendants and other race sex having sex relationships, which look with other ethnic races played a major role in our fall from God to man. Introduction to the Nature of Nature, Book 1, number 298, pages 220 to 221 in part. Listen to sound right reason. However, in order to practice our nobility as the Takanoa race, we must use our best reasonability at all times, speak our best knowledge, and at the proper times be neat and clean in public at all times, be in our best behavior at all times. And we must not become arrogant and too proud because of our newfound royal status. Noble people are firm, but fair and equitable. Our growing reasonability, our intelligence, and Noopooh, our nature knowledge, our philosophy, science, noon, and our natural nobility, our nature movement look toward godhood. All the Takanoa race's true road to real freedom from predators, diseases, and hunger. Justice, necessary provisions, food, clothes, and shelter, and equality, as well as security for each other. The cycle and circle, the time and tide, and the season and reason are in our favor. Let it be remembered and let it be known. Introduction to the Nature of Nature, Book 3, page 64, the PDF. Daniel 8:14. And he said unto me, 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. 2022 explanation. 2,300 days is incorrect. The time it takes to totally remove Osiris or Saw from power is February 5th, 1962 to February 5th, 2025. That is a total of 63 years. There are a total of 23,010 days in 63 years. As you can see, the numbers are quite similar. Updated information on this verse, 6/7/2025, 2:24 a.m. Now that talk has been told about why the times are off based upon the slow movement of the smack circle is the cause of these different numbers and interpretation. Here are a few examples. So here, when you deal with the Old Testament, they got 70 weeks, 483 years, 69 weeks. And then they got the last 7 years that they added to here. And then you got a time frame, 2,300 years. See, from the decree to rebuild Jerusalem all the way to investigative judgment begins, because they're not sure here. All right, then they got a sign cut off to the Jewish people. So they remember, even though the Jewish people are not from Palestine or Canaan originally, but because this out was predestined to run, they're using the time that they were there all the way up to toward the end is why this stuff is here. So you got 70 weeks, but they say each week is 7 years. So they get all these different years based upon the multiplication of 7 years. So here they got 1 week left out of the 7 weeks. So they saying 69 weeks is 483 years. And that brings us up to the 7-year period, right? But they saying they think it happened here. See, this is the confusion. Some say Jesus was baptized and had 3.5 years, and Jesus crucified 3.5 years, then Stephen stoned. This is just the stuff that they have. Now, I said this passage has been a favorite springboard for elaborate and fanciful prophetic interpretation. A popular and tragic interpretation of this passage took 1 year for every day, and William Miller used 2,300 days to calculate that Jesus will return in 1844, 2,300 years after Cyrus issued the decree to rebuild the temple. His movement ended up giving birth to what? The Seventh-day Adventists, the Jehovah's Witnesses, and several other movements. So these are cults that got they start off with a guy who had the whole thing wrong. So they religious movements came out of that. Do your research. All right, this is him, which they call it Adventism. But these still are religious people. Listen to sound right cosmic peace particles. It's obvious the quote says days. However, when negative natures involved, mystery is created, and also religious texts carry many meanings, such as Anoot BooOOnooAAnet has proclaimed. These quotes also describe the Caucasian economic system. That being the case, we Noopoo must help you unravel and use Noon to help put it in order in the form of updating. Listen to reason. Noon, the positive philosophy of all positive future worlds, is the nature of nature science. So it's telling right here, talking about planets. It's telling that Noon is going to be the future philosophy of all the worlds, not just this one. Right? Is the nature of nature. Science, also called universe science, and etymological meaning of the word universe is, look, one composition, meaning in universe terms, one existence and relativity and activity. That is to say, one world, meaning in the spinning and the twirling. All this is making a 1 degree change, a 1 degree turn at a time. Hence, universe science is knowledge, making a 1 degree change at a time. And this means that what is true at one time may not be true at another time. And this is why equal science, equal knowledge must be what? Brought up to date at certain intervals around every 2,000 years. Let it be remembered always, and let it so be known. All right? So this is why you're seeing inside this text where every now and then you'll see that they are mentioning update, and I put the date and time that it happened. So let's go. The astrological age of the prophecy of Daniel. This progressive updating began in 1962, February 5th, after coming out of the age of Pisces religion, which was ending its 2,000 years of rulership. What is an astrological age? An astrological age is commonly defined as a time period in which the Earth's axis precesses through one of the 12 zodiac signs. Each of these ages lasts around 2,000 to 2,400 years, with the whole procession lasting approximately 26,000 years. Essentially, this means that the astrological age we're in changes roughly every 2,000 to 2,400 years. The current astrological age is the age of Aquarius, which began in the 1960s and is believed to end sometime in the next few centuries. The previous age was the age of Pisces, which lasted from around 0 CE Christian era to the 1960s. Before that was the age of Aries and so on. All right, so you can look that up yourself. So we Noopoo, and you see the Jews turn each day into years, and that up the time immensely. However, when you calculate the 2,300 days into proper years, such as 365 days, come out to what? 6.5 or 6 years and a half. This is shown as the 3.5 year twice in the picture below. This is the time frame given in Revelation chapter 11, just off by 6 months. So that's what happens. So it shouldn't be 2,300 years. It should be 2,300 days. All right? 2,300 day prophecy of Daniel 8:14. This is another one that I pulled off a line. So those who are familiar with this will be able to keep up, and those who don't will be able to pay attention to it. All right, so here the gospel preached only the Jews, right? 70 weeks of Daniel come out to 490 years. This is what they got: 79 weeks, 70th week, 62 weeks, 7 years, 483 years, 3.5 years, midst of the week, 3.5 years. So underneath this, they say from 457 BC to 27 BC, right? Which is what, like 430 years. They say Jesus got baptized. And then AD 31, the crucifixion. All of this was a lie. Because Caesarion died 14 BC. They played with the games. They upped the date in order to make it appear like the timeline that Josephus Flavius Piso was creating in the New Testament around that. All right? So it can make it look like his writings have validity to them, even though Flavius was born, I think 30-some years after that. All right. Gospel preached to the Gentiles, the dog ages of papal supremacy. So now you got 1,260 years versus the book, and Daniel says 1,260 days, 42 months. So you see how the lies go. You see how they'll take something that says days and then they'll make it into years, because now the Vatican has the books and they done rewrote it the way they wanted to write it. And then somebody came after them, that guy up here, this guy misinterpreted the information, right? And then said that everything was going to end in 1844, which is the start of judgment, which is not true. Here, the 1,260 days have turned into years, which was 6 ether tricks. Chapter 11, 12, and 13 cover the middle of the tribulation. These 3 chapters require a very short period of time, which is basically 7 years. The appearance of the 2 witnesses, the beginning of the 7-year tribulation, and Apophis. Listen and sound right, cosmic reason. The reason you're learning this now, because we, meaning all of us, have entered the beginning of the 7-year tribulation, April 13th, 2022 AD. And it's time to learn your proper places. Instead of Apophis hitting in 2025 or 2026, Apophis will hit April 13th, 2029. If you go back 3.5 years before April 13th, 2029, it's October the 13th, 2025. 3 years before October the 13th, 2025 is April the 13th, 2022. Again, this doesn't mean it will be exact in this circle of events in your lifetime. However, you too will eventually go very public as things heat up in Africa. Page 59 of this document. Listen to reason. Nature royalty is determined by, look, blood lineage flowing from the incarnation of gods and goddesses and the kinship of demigods and goddesses to their what? Ancestry. That means when a spirit god or goddess incarnate into a person, that person means that their bloodline is already royal. And when they have children, if that is the case, now the spirits are offsprings of the spirit god or goddess. and every time their children keep reproducing and reproducing and reproducing, right? They get a chance to continue the spiritual lineage. All right. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna end it. We're gonna come right back. Flowing from the incarnations and the gods of the gods and goddesses and the kinship of demigods and goddesses to their ancestry. If a person is a natural born king, a natural born queen, a natural born priest, or a natural born elite by nature, he or she learns of it in the proper place and at the proper time, because these people are royalty of absolute nature and thereby obligated to learn and practice positive nature knowledge, including the laws, also standards of nature, and be able to lead people in the right way. These facts are especially true now that the moon cycle and evolution have ended and the sun cycle and revolution have begun. Let it be remembered, let it be known. Transcript with audio tape number 17, page 10 of the PDF. All right, so we're going to stop right here, right? And then we're going to come back with a part 2. All right, so I wanted to know, I wanted y'all to give y'all a little conversation on this before we close out and come back. So what do y'all think?
Well, true peace, Ken. Ken's
Speak up a little bit, Ken. Speak up, Nebo.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was too relaxed. Yeah. Yeah, for the most part, the powerful part in the reading when it was breaking down how on the SMAT circle it shows the different, the spaces and the years of what it would be and what number it would equal out to. I found that to be very powerful. Yeah, and just basically knowing and taking our place, just like you said, yeah, that's one of the main things we have to do as Noonaboos and also as those that's getting the information. True peace.
What's going on, Naru? Do your thizzle. What you
True
got? I know
peace,
you
true
got something.
peace.
True peace.
Yeah, this
True
is
peace.
peace. Y'all can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, this was another powerful heater, just to waking up the people, letting them get some insight on what's happening, within nature, how nature reacts, and what's coming. I mean, things are not going to be here in this state forever. It's inevitable. So it's great that we can have these conversations. People could come in and listen and get access to the information so they can gear themselves, primarily our Ethiopian brothers and sisters that's tuning in to Almighty Nature now. They're not they're they're not the ones that's out here doing the crazy activities as we see and witness. So definitely, and the parts that you brought in about being the witnesses is definitely strong to let everyone know that when they encounter situations and they're in nine mind, they become witnesses. Um, so yeah, definitely great.
All right. Well said. Well said. All right, everybody, stay tuned. We finna circle the block one more time and continue with the bill. So just sit tight. Just look out for the going live again. I'm finna knock this one down. We'll be right back. True peace.